Yeah. I think the easy one would be Mazzulla. I'm going to blame Mazzulla, Brad Stevens, and Jaylen Brown. And I like Jaylen. Obviously, I'm really good with Jaylen. I like him a lot. I think he's a good kid, but he's got to step his game up. Like, got to get to that next level. The ball handling can't be your primary weakness anymore. Like, it just can't happen. I understand what Sherrod is saying. He was aggressive. He's trying to make plays. It was, it was tearing home. But a lot of that was just dribbling off his knee, his hip, losing the ball, getting stripped. Like, you can't have that. You just can't have that in big games. And teams are going to, and this is the biggest stage where everybody's watching. And the same thing last year with Jaylen's handle. And then it was supposed to be improved this year. And he works with Tony Dobbins, and I like Tony. Like, they working hard, but it's like Jaylen's it should be a wake-up call. Like, get into the lab, Jaylen, and get to that next level. So the 8 turnovers, I can't just buy, and the 1 for 9 from 3-point shooting. When he's got a reliable mid-range game, and that they were inviting him to shoot it at times, but he's also got to work as a playmaker. He's got to be able to pass the ball well. Like, no more just I can put the ball in the hoop. Like, you got to look at the numbers. Jimmy Butler, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Okay, and who's second? He was second to on assists for the Heat. Adebayo, who had 7. Like, that's all around play. Okay, Jaylen had 5 assists with his 8 turnovers, but 8-to-5 turnover ratio is terrible. Tatum had 4. Tatum was trying to do a little bit of everything. He had 4 turnovers. Marcus Smart had 4, but I'm blaming Brown. I'm going to blame Mazzulla for, like you said, lack of adjustments, that stubbornness. I feel like the stubbornness is just the stubborn act is old. Okay, you're getting lapped. You got a lot to learn. And I don't think he's arrogant, but just like I got this, and no, we don't need to change that. Like, no, you do need to change some things. You did need to become a better defensive team. You did need to go deeper into your bench. It's like the Heat went 8 deep if you call Haywood Highsmith, but Kyle Lowry was a plus 26 in his 24 minutes. Duncan Robinson had 10 points. He was a plus 17 in his 20 minutes. Like, they all have roles. If you throw Grant, his role might vary from one game to the next. And I think that they have to make some decisions on roster. They have to get some defined roles, and they got to get a better offensive system. Like, they got to score in the paint. That's Joe. And I blame Brad for, again, having a bunch of guys on the roster who don't – Hauser, Pritchard, Cornette, Muscala, Justin Champagne, who's just there for the ride, and Blake Griffin. You got 6 guys on the roster who just don't play. Right. And can't play in the playoffs. And that was a problem last year, where you had all these guys on the team that were nice guys that were occupying roster spots. And it's just like, including Hauser, but this was supposed to be the year that Hauser took a step forward and was really ready to contribute on the playoff team. Okay, because they saw how they botched the whole Max Strus thing, right? And don't think Strus doesn't remember that getting cut so they could sign Taco Fall.
Which Taco Fall did address that today. I will read you the tweet if you haven't seen it already.
Oh boy!
Just because it is relevant, I was like, I need to bring this up. So someone, C's had student camp and cut him for Langford and Newsmith. That's what some fan thought. But someone quote tweeted saying, no, it's even worse. They cut him for Taco to keep Taco. Taco replied, wrong, Keith. Also, I'm just grinding, enjoying my family, and minding my business. Please leave my name out of this. And congrats to my guy, Max. Just a little, that was 3 hours ago on Tuesday. So he's very much in the loop, but continue. I felt.
Yeah. But I just think I blame Brad too for not, you had Jawan Morgan, you had dudes on his roster last year that were nice guys, but can't play. And I thought Hauser is what I'm like, I thought he was supposed to stretch the floor. And I just think what Spoelstra did, because remember, Duncan Robinson out of the rotation, then Tyler Hero got hurt. So what a good coach does, and I'm not saying Mazzulla can't get to this level one day, is these are your strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to put you in the game to accentuate your strengths. Just work your ass off on defense, Duncan. I'll help you get open threes and cuts to the basket. Okay, you'll play 15 minutes and you'll have a defined role. Max Strus, just play tough defense. I'll get you open threes, because all those guys got limitations, and we'll see how those limitations fit against Denver, which is a deep, deep, deep team. Denver got bros on the bench. They have plenty of dudes. And the Celtics were supposed to change that this year. So I blame Brad too.
All right, final question for me. What is the biggest question that you want answered about this season?
You got
For the
it, Gary.
Celtics, obviously.
Biggest question that I want answered, like, what are you going to do? I just think, like, the coaching staff has to be addressed. Like, the coaching, you got some stability. If you want stability and you want Joe, either you got to surround Joe with some quality veteran assistants, and you got to get a defensive coordinator. If the defense is slipping, and I think Malcolm Brogdon's comments were very telling after the game, like, we're not a defensive team. We were. You can't be a better offensive team than defensive team in this league and expect to win, which the Celtics were. Then you need a defensive coordinator. You need a Tom Thibodeau type. You need a guy who can run your defense. And that should be their offseason. Like, don't even pick up a ball the first 2 weeks of training camp. Work on defensive stuff. Like, I think the coaching staff is going to be critical to the future of this team. If you decide to keep Joe Mazzulla, who are you surrounding him with? What kind of people? Are they guys that players can trust and want to play hard for?
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.